when the interest or ROI is too good to be true, it's most likely a scam. Also, you can go to SEC websites, that's the Security and Exchange Commission website, and check out if they are licensed. If they are not, they are most likely a scam. Hi, guys. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you guys can hear, the journey is on. I'm tired. It's very, very frustrating. This happens every time I decide to shoot. Today there was lights in the morning when I was doing my makeup, and all of a sudden when I started shooting, they took off the lights. Another journey is on. Like literally, I've not even finished speaking, and then I heard another gen sound, and I think this one is closer to my flags. Anyways, review. So today it's a Q&A day. I'm going to be asking some of you guys questions. I put up an anonymous link for people to ask me questions about investments and personal finance, and I'm going to be answering some of the questions, not all. The questions are a lot. I don't think I can take them all in this video. Maybe I'm going to do a pack. So the first writer is asking, how can I start saving money with a low income? But they didn't state how much they earn in the question, and what is considered a low income is very, very relative. For some, it might be 500,000. For some, it might be 300,000. For some, it might be lesser, maybe 100,000 naira. So, for the purpose of this question, I'll be using the example of someone earning 100,000. I think the minimum wage in Nigeria is 7,000. That's the minimum wage, and that's called poppers. And when they add up whatever they are being paid from their PFA, that sums up to 100,000. So I'll be using 100,000 as the benchmark to answer this question. So for someone that is earning 100,000, my candid advice is for the person to be for a side also to augment that amount, because frankly speaking, with the inflationary rates on goods, it's very hard to save, and saving with that kind of money will feel like a chore. So I would still advise persons to save 10% of what they earn. So 10% of 100,000 is 10,000. So the person should stay endeavor to save at least 10,000 naira monthly, depending when they get beside also to augment their income. Second question: what are the best investment opportunities in Nigeria right now? When you say best, I think right now we don't have any bad legitimate investments in Nigeria. All the categories of assets are doing quite well. The stock market is doing well. The fixed income instruments are also performing. So for the stock market, recently the banks posted their Q1 reports, also paid dividends. And yes, the stock market is quite good. There are a lot of opportunities in that market. Also with fixed income instruments, we have treasury bills, we have FGN savings bond that comes out every first week of every month. We have commercial papers, and the lowest interest I've seen so far is 70% thereabouts. Also, even with tech class, someone you just decide to say maybe on piggyvest, you find like this interest per annum. So yes, the investments in Nigeria are really, really good right now, whether you decide to go for the stock markets or fixed income instrument like treasury bills, you have FDN savings bond, you have commercial papers. So just make sure you consult with an expert to guide you through which of these investments you should invest in. You can also watch my next videos where I'll be breaking down these different types of investments and how you would know which ones to invest in. So the third writer asked, how do I budget effectively and stick to it? So I need a context to this, because one, it's one thing to demand for a budgeting method or rule, and it's another thing to stay disciplined, because budgeting and discipline goes side by side. So do you mean that you've not been able to budget no matter what method you try, or you need a budget to stick to, like a method? So for the methods, we have different kinds of method, but one I always recommend is the 50-30-20 rule, which means that 50% of your income is what you allocate to your needs. Think about food, transport, and all of that, necessities. Then 30% of your income goes to your wants, what you desire. Like if you want to flex after working for a whole month. So like maybe going out with friends, buying new clothing and all of that. That's what 30% of your income will cover. And then the remaining 20% is what you save or invest depending on how much you earn. In this method, because it allows you to flex while also saving. So it's very, very flexible. You don't have to be too hard on yourself. YC. This is interesting. The writer wrote, I'm stuck in a cycle of quick loans and high interest rates. How can I get out of debt and avoid loan hacks? So this is very interesting because I just released a book titled Beyond the Debt Cycle, and it contains all the answers to this question. It's a personal guide on how to get out of debts and how to stay free after paying your debts. So it's either of two things: impulsive spending, or you are taking out these loans to survive. Which is the latter, you are taking out these loans to survive. Number one is that you've done the wrong thing. Nevertheless, it's never too late to break the cycle. You have to reevaluate your income. Most likely, your income is not sufficient to cover your needs, your necessary bills. So, yes, when you reevaluate your income, you need a side also to augment your income, or maybe take on a new job. So that way you can earn enough to pay your debts and also start saving. On the other hand, if your problem is that you are living above your means, my best advice to you is to consult a personal finance expert or a financial advisor that will hold your hand through this journey. Also, you can list your debts in order of their due dates. Since you mentioned loan applications, so rank them in order of their due dates and match them with how you can repay them. So once you are done, you need to seek knowledge, financial education, so you don't go back into loans. Then this person asks, how can I protect myself from financial scams and causing schemes? This is very, very simple. By doing your research, due diligence, or asking a personal finance expert or your financial advisor, they can keep you away from being victims of fake investment platforms. However, one rule of the thumb is when the interest or ROI is too good to be true, it's most likely a scam. Also, you can go to SEC websites, that's the Security and Exchange Commission website, and check out if they are licensed. If they are not, they are most likely a scam. The next one, how can I start a side hustle that actually makes money? So this is very relative. It depends on your standard 9 to 5 and how much time it can afford you. But generally, think of your strengths and how you can monetize any of your strengths. So the last one is quite lengthy and it contains names. So I'm just going to skip the stories and just go straight to the questions. What is the best way to avoid these family obligations? So essentially, the person is asking about how to cope with black tax. When it comes to black tax, you have to be selfish. I know you love your family. I love mine too. But what you have to stick to the budgets. Don't go above and beyond. I'm not saying don't go above and beyond for your family, but when it's also you, it's a problem. I read a story about a person who basically took care of black tax with their income, new series, nothing, and all of a sudden they lost their job, moved back home, and that's when regret set in because the family just changed. Like they were the same set of people that that faulted this person for not saving. Like just look at the irony of things. So I'm not saying that your family dynamics is like that, or maybe your family members are unkind. I'm just saying that when black tax starts to hurt your own finances, your own personal savings, then you need to reevaluate everything. Let them know that, oh, this is how much you can afford to give them every month. So that's all the questions I can take in this video. Look out for part 2. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment below.